They looked at the structure of the Quran and the Hadith. They say it's two different. It's not. There's two different people. It's not the same.
You can tell.
Well, there you go. So when people come and say the Prophet Muhammad,
it's like when you look at like handwriting, you can tell whose handwriting it is. Exactly. You can also look at whose sentence structure. You can see text, and you're like, this seems like it's from my mom, from this person, that person.
When you're connected with the Quran, Wallahi, I'm not. This is not just like me saying it for the sake. When you start thinking about it, do you know? For me, I said, there's no way Prophet Muhammad could have brought this.
Impossible.
Because the thing is, I've been spending like the last 15 years studying philosophy. Yeah. Bro, the stuff in the Quran, there's too many diverse fields. Bro, look, he's talking about history. He's talking about the future. He's talking about human psychology, the human condition, the politics, the earth,
sea levels.
Bro, even like scientific phenomena. Like there's things that you can see. The Quran is careful not to fall into something that we would consider to be completely impossible. Which the Bible does not do, bro. Like, let me give you one example. I'm going to be open with this. The truth is, in Islamic history, there have been two positions. One of them is that the earth is flat, and the other one is that the earth is round. Both of those exegetes got that information from the Quranic verse. So some of them interpreted some verses as meaning the earth is round, like Ibn Taymiyyah and like Ibn Hazm and like Al-Ghazali.
Like stretched out. I think you just read that one.
Chapter 39 verse 5, that you kawru layla an nahar, that is Allah, He rolled the day into the night and rolled the night into the day. And there's some other verses which indicates like Allah smoothing the earth and stuff like that. So some people interpreted that as a flat earth. There's been two opinions, However, in Christian history and Jewish history, bro, there's only ever been one way of interpreting the Bible, which is that the earth is flat. There is not one verse in the Bible which indicates in any way the rotundity of the earth. So that's why there's a guy called John Walton, he said that the closest verse you're going to find is a verse in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 22, where it says the circle of the earth. But the circle of the earth doesn't indicate. It's flat. It doesn't say anything about the rotundity of it, the roundness of the earth.
What a way to say round.
Rotundity.
What is it?
Rotundity.
Where do you find these words?
What did you say today? You're delicious. What you today? You said you're delicious. What was it? Today? No, not me. No, you. What you said?
I can't remember.
But yeah, it's got so many words.
But you know what I'm saying? So the fact is, even with naturalistic phenomena, there's scope. That's why there's always, you're going to find is with observable reality an exegete somewhere that says something that corresponds to our scientific understanding today, even though it was before the scientific discovery.
Like science is catching up with the Quran.
Well, I'm not putting it that way. I'm saying that the way the Quran speaks is in a way where you'll find an interpretation somewhere in history which corresponds with an observable scientific fact. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, I gave the example of the earth. So there's an interpretation by a lot of Islamic scholars of the Quran that the earth is round. There is nothing in the Bible like that. So there's only one interpretation of the Bible, which is that the earth is flat. Do you get what I'm saying? So, to be fair, because someone could say, "Oh, this scholar here said the earth is flat."
Like maybe the evidence comes out in the future for which one is right. We don't know.
Exactly. But the Quran gives, like, it doesn't say something which is impossible. It never says that. It never says makes it impossible. It makes a claim that's scientifically. When I say scientifically, like the cutthroat, like definitive, observable reality. It never goes against that. Oh, it can go against theories. It can go against theories, but when it's like completely observable reality, like something that we can.
And for example, you know when he said the arsh of the.
Too many common faces here.
Sorry, the ring, the Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the arsh, it's like a ring formed in the desert. Now, bro, now we're just discovering about the vast of the universe. There are 200 billion galaxies that have 200 million or 200 billion suns in it. You would have never think that. You know when the Prophet ﷺ says, and the Prophet ﷺ saw angel Gabriel in the horizon, huge. You would think, come on, man, how could an angel be that big? Now you see how vast our universe is. You're like, brother, you know, it's like when the Prophet mentions his arsh is like a ring thrown in the desert. Now it's like, yo, how does he have that knowledge? Bro, and you know, one other thing, it's very interesting what the Prophet ﷺ, he says something very, like, for example, his Surah ibn Malik. So he was a bounty hunter. The Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr are on the run. The Quraysh are trying to hunt them down. So Surah ibn Malik was a bounty hunter. So they said to him, listen, if you catch him, 100 red camels are like Ferraris. He's on their case. He's chasing them. And then he sees them from a distance. His horse refuses to go. So his horse is bro. He's trying to go.
The Prophet's horse refuses to.
The bounty hunter's horse.
Abu Bakr and the Prophet Muhammad, they're on the run. The Quraysh are after him. Surah ibn Malik he became a Muslim, but he was a bounty hunter. So the Quraysh said to him, listen, you know the place, you know the terrain, find them, and we'll give you 100 red camels. So he's like, listen, I'm going to catch these lot. As he's trying to, he sees the Prophet Muhammad and Abu Bakr in the distance, but his horse refuses to go further. So he's like, bro, this is strange. He shouts and he says, oh Muhammad, I come in peace. Let me come. Now, check this out. This is very bizarre. He goes to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, won't say anything. If someone's chasing me, I'll say, listen, leave me alone, go away, what do you want from me? That's what I'm going to say. The Prophet ﷺ goes to him and says, Suraqah, woe to you, a day is going to come where you're going to be wearing the bracelets of Kisra. Bro, that's such a... It's just came out of nowhere. Bro, it's just come out of nowhere. Someone chasing me and I go, yo, listen, a day is going to come, and let's say Trump doesn't exist, America. There's going to be great power, and you're going to wear Rolex of a man called Trump. It's like, bro, that's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
This is a good point, bro.
And one second.
This is a good
and you know what happens?
Yeah.
You know what happens? This is a prophecy.
Yeah.
Said to him randomly.
Yeah.
He could have said anything to him. Leave me alone, why chasing me? He goes, Suraqah, a day is going to come where you're going to be wearing the bracelets of Kisra. Who's Kisra?
Yeah.
The ruler of Persia. Brother, you know what happens at the time of Umar ibn Khattab? Bro, you know what happens at the time of...
it's a situation of weakness.
It's weakness, bro. Why are you going to be thinking about a prophecy? What's the prophecy got to do with the situation? Do you know what happens at the time of Umar ibn Khattab? They take over Persia. Suraqah ibn Malik wears the bracelets of Kisra. Brother, how do you make that up?
The thing is, someone will say, "Oh, this was put into the hadith later on." No, but some of the prophecies of the Prophet Muhammad,
so sorry.
Some of them talk about exactly what's happening today, bro. Exactly what's happening today.
There's prophecies for the time of the Prophet, decades, centuries, until today, right? Like there's ones that basically for all the time until the day of judgment.
Today, like for example, I've mentioned
buildings are going to compete.
The buildings and all that, bro. There's things about even you could argue headphones, bro. Like, you know, music, headphones.
Yeah.
There's a hadith that says, يُضْرَبُ عَلَى رُؤُوسِكُمْ بِالْمَعَازِفِ. That there's gonna come a time where you'll be putting something in your head and you'll be listening to music.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, come on, man. There's one about cars, man. Do you know there's one about, like, Albani says this, there's no doubt it's talking about cars. Yeah. Really? There's a hadith in Muslim, yeah? It says there'll come a time where you're going to be a suruj. Suruj is essentially, essentially, you're going to be on an instrument which you're going to be reclining on the leather chairs, and you're going to drive on the ground, on the earth with it. You're going to be reclining on the leather chairs on it, and you're going to come outside of a mosque. Bro, this is in the hadith collection that was there from thousands of years.